is loving, caring, sharing.
Hey everybody, Mark Mercer here, and I've decided to make a recording response, as it were, instead of the usual typing back banter on Facebook, because quite honestly, what I have to say just takes too much for typing. Who wants to read all that anyway? We can listen to my beautiful voice. All right, look, here's the thing. I'm looking for a job. You guys know that. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you haven't been paying attention. Maybe you're saying, who's Mark Mercer? Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm a guy who's been out of work for 2 years. That's right, 2 years. And I'm sick to death of what has been going on in terms of trying to find a job. Anybody who is out there seriously looking for a job, I'm talking somebody who's like, say, over the age of 30, who's got some experience under the belt, knows exactly what I'm talking about. You can send out 1,000 resumes and not hear anything back from anyone at all. You can go have yourself 27 interviews like I have in the past year and have nobody call you back. And you could ace all of those interviews. It doesn't matter. See, here's the problem. There is a huge disconnect now between people who are unemployed and seeking employment and those who are actually employers. And not even necessarily the employers themselves, but the HR departments, the people that they hire, their lackeys that actually do that kind of work to get somebody in their company. All right? Now, I came up with this idea about having a sign going down to Philadelphia and standing there in the corner of 19th and Market for the last couple weeks and, putting my resume, as it were, attached to my humanity. And I've had an amazing number of responses as a result. Now, nobody's actually said, Mark, let's go to work. But I only need one person to do that. And I figure, I've waited 2 years and had nothing. What have I got to lose now? So, I'm spending a little bit of time investing in this idea that all I need is one visionary. That's it. Just one. To walk by, to drive by, to see me somehow, and say, this guy has got it. This guy's got the sand to stand there in front of everybody. Nice shirt, tie, pants, slacks, haircut, looking good, professional, obviously, and say, look, I need a job. I'm not interested in your change, your spare change, your money. That's another thing. And I've been misread on this quite a bit. One lady came up to me and said to me, are you trying to make some sort of a political statement? Your sign says, I don't want your change, I need a job. What, are you trying to say something about the president? I said, look, I need a job. Why does everything have to be political? Why can't a guy just stand out with a sign saying, look, I don't want your spare change, I need a job. All right, I didn't have the room to put the word spare on there, okay? Forgive me! The point is, if all the good people of this country decide tomorrow that they are going to take all the scumbags in Washington out and hang them by their necks from a sour apple tree for their treasonous betrayal of this country and trashing of our Constitution, I have no opinion on that. I need a job. Okay? Does that clear things up? Good. Okay, so the sign was not intended to be political. I put a disclaimer at the top because if there's one thing you can say about Philadelphia, it is full of panhandlers. And I see them everywhere. And my heart goes out to some of them. Some of these guys are generally in bad shape. Some are just scammers. But some of them are really in tough, dire straits, and they need a hand here and there. I don't want anyone's change. I just need a job. So I decided to make the sign, go downtown, and parade it. Now, in the time I've been doing that, the sign that I have has become somewhat beleaguered, I guess you might say. It has been rained on several times. It is soggy. It's looking a little bit beat. The pictures on my Facebook page that show the pictures of it there, it's nice and crisp and new. That was the first couple days that I did that. It looked great. After some wind, some rain, and not such good, storage temperatures in my trunk of my car, it's starting to look a little shoddy. So, fast forward to yesterday. Actually, today. Today is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013. And this morning, while listening to IQ 106.9, I heard them talking about how there's a survey that Philadelphia is one of the snobbiest cities in the United States. By the way, we're ranked 14th. We're not like number one. All right, that belongs to Kansas City. Now, who would have thought Kansas City Kansas City, here I come. Who would have thought Kansas City? The number one snob city. Give me a break. All right. Anyway, so Philadelphia is one of the snobby cities in the U.S. And they go on to explain blah 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 blah. Now here's the thing. I read this online at Metro, who actually took the first picture of me and put it in the newspaper, page 6. Thank you very much. And I heard this and thought, you know what? There's something in this snobbiness. There's an angle here, and I'm going to explore it. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to explore this angle, this idea that Philadelphia is the snobbiest city. Now, I remember, I don't know what it was, about 5-6 years ago, Philadelphia was rated the most sarcastic city in America. We had number 1 on that. We had the number 1 slot. Matter of fact, I think we held it for a couple of years. But the point is that, to me, that may be true. This may be the snobby, one of the snobbiest, number 14 out of 20. It may very well be that we're snobby. And I, came up with this idea. Now, this is just a work in progress, all right? Keep it in mind. So I came up with a sign idea, and I just basically did a quick Photoshop on it and changed it around to Philly snob needs a job. All right, survey. Philadelphia is one of the snobbiest cities. Are you reading along with me, everyone? Good. All right, and I wrote the caption from the headline from the webpage where I got it, and then, of course, the URL source. And then I kind of came up with my own little catchy slogan: fire your slob and hire a snob. Yes, do it today. You can get a snob for a reasonable price. All you have to do is come on 19th Market, and you can get yourself one fine snob. Let me tell you. So, anyway, I come up with this idea. And I don't have it worked out yet. I'm still working on it. But my buddy Jimmy, he had some comments about, why don't you do this and why don't you do that. I've done all that. I've had HR people actually come up to me on the street and say to me, have you tried this and have you tried that? I tried all that. I'm done with it. I am never, let me make sure I say this loud and clear. I am never, ever, ever, for the rest of my life, ever, God strike me dead on my mother's eyes, going to use the internet to find a job again. Now, look, there's this huge disconnect, all right? It's gigantic because it's not that there aren't any jobs out there. The problem is that there's 3,000 other bulls out there applying for them, all right? So it's not a matter of, you can't find a job because there's not one single job. No, there's all kinds of jobs out there. As a matter of fact, one of the things I realized after doing this the first day was that I could set the bar a little higher. I didn't necessarily have to take the dishwashing job at Wendy's or whatever. I could take maybe a job that paid a little bit better. Why? Because of the kind of response I've had. What kind of response? I've given out more resumes than I have in the past, year anyway. I have a stack of business cards in my wallet. It's just nobody's gone so far as to say, Mark, let's go to work. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that my dream job is radio. That's my goal. I'd love to get into radio. The problem with that is it's who you know. And I have tried, and I'm not done trying, but I've tried, and that has not come to fruition as of yet. So for the time being, as long as it pays my child support, gives me and my boys a place to live and a roof over our head, then, I'll take, dishwashing. I'm not proud. I just need a job. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. I wanted to do this in an audio file because, quite honestly, everything I've just said would have taken too long and nobody would bother reading it. And I don't even know that anybody will even bother listening to this. But at any rate, stay tuned. I'm going to keep working on this particular sign. I don't have it tweaked just yet. My buddy Michael also made an interesting observation. He said, you could elevate the city out of its snobbiness by pointing out to people that you could help remove the stigma of snobbery by simply hiring someone like me. And I thought, you know what, you're onto something there, Michael. We're going to explore that. I'm going to do a little bit of Photoshop in here and there. I'm certainly open to everyone's input, good, bad, indifferent, death threats, anything. I don't care. It's all good as far as I'm concerned. So you all just have yourselves a lovely day. And remember that no matter how bad it gets, no matter how difficult life seems, no matter how much in despair that you are at this very precise moment, just remember this. At least you're not me.